and I think after a while it's going to do that even more. So I just didn't like the fact that it's already starting to do that at the side, and considering that this is just brand new from the store, you can already see that it's sort of like going this way. I don't know how to explain it, but yeah, I don't know, it just seemed so weird. So I didn't like the way that looked. I know that's probably because of the shape of the bag, but personally I just didn't like the way that it looked, and I think over time it's probably going to flap up even more. So yeah, that is also something to consider, that this handbag may not age as well as, let's say, the classic medium flap. The third thing that I didn't like, or am I on the third? But anyways, I lost track. But anyways, let's start talking about the interior of this bag. And I did say that it is very, very spacious on the inside, and I did like the fact that it has like a compartment back here and then a compartment right here in front, and then it has this zippered compartment. But I found myself never really using this back compartment because it was just so hard to get into. And then the front compartment, even though it can contain everything that I wanted it to contain, I found that the opening right here is actually very, very difficult to get in and out your stuff. And because it was a work bag, and because I wanted to carry a lot of stuff on the inside of this bag, I just found that the space was very limited, even though this bag looks big on me. And I know that the bag does look quite large for my frame, so I was thinking that it could carry a lot more than its actual capacity. So, but in general, Chanel bags, I find that the capacity of a Chanel bag is, I don't know if it's because of the way it's made or the structure, but usually they do tend to carry a lot less than my other handbags from different brands. Another con that I found with this bag, and I'm still talking about its looks, is the aged gold hardware. And at first I thought I would really like that sort of vintage vibe of the gold, but then I found like the way that it fades is all just at the edge part. And yes, it looks vintage, but at the same time it just looks like I don't know how to take care of my bags. And I don't know if you guys can see it on camera, but the only places that are really faded is really just the edges of the hardware. So it makes your bag look like it was really handed down to you, even though it is a relatively brand new bag. And it looks like it needs to go back for electroplating, or it needs to go back for another plate of gold. And yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I guess I just didn't like the way that it looked. Like, I have a Le Boy bag which has the exact same type of hardware, where it's the aged gold matte hardware, and I like the way that it looked. I found that it was very evenly done, and even on the Gabrielle I like the way that it looks, but on this bag it just didn't look right. Or there's just something wrong with the way that it looks. But I guess if you are choosing a COCO handle in a different sort of hardware, or a different sort of color hardware, then this of course wouldn't apply. Another thing that I didn't like about the COCO handle is that it looks old right away. And what I mean by old is that it tends to crease right here at the top part. So because of when you open and close it, this back part right here already has a sort of crease, and that isn't even from opening and closing it a whole lot, but it creases very, very easily, even if you remember to take care of your bags. And I do really baby my handbag. I'm usually very, very careful, but even with being careful with this handbag, like, you can see it right away that it already feels like it has been used for years, which isn't the case. Mine is a 2018, so I bought this in early 2018, and it is a series 28. So that's how it looks like right away. So yeah, that was something that I wasn't really too crazy about. My handbag looking like it had already been used so often, even though it was only in its first week of usage. And then my last reason for not liking the COCO handle is that I find the straps a little bit thin, especially for a bag that is meant to be a little bit more hard wearing and meant for something of this size. Actually, I find that the straps are very thin, especially since it is only held together by
glasses or probably even hand sanitizer, and I'll just have my phone and my lip items, my ID, and a compact and a credit card. So this is more than enough for that. It can be used as an everyday bag. As you can see, it can hold a lot more. So when I wear for like an everyday bag, I can also put my matching Chanel wallet in there. So this will fit in the bag. Along with my phone, my compact, my lip liner, lipstick, and Carmex, and no problem. You know, this will fit and clip. However, it will not fit my sunglasses. So one of the things I definitely do when I wear this Chanel, the medium-sized bag, is that I will take my credit card and my ID out, and those are the only two things that I'll have to put in here. So, you know, I am a mom to a 3-year-old, so normally I do have a separate diaper bag that I'll carry instead of this, but this is for mainly when I just am going out and running errands by myself, or if I'm going on a date night, or, you know, hanging out with the girls when it's just me and all I need is my stuff. So anyways, I will show you guys the inside now, minus all the stuff I have in there. So when you first open the bag, there's a flap right there. And I don't know what it's used for, but it only has like a small space here. And I heard that she had designed it for a lover's letter. No idea what that is, but you know, there's a small amount of space in here for that. And after that, you have the inside, and you can see the classic Chanel logo there. And here is the inside of the bag. And there are 2 slots here for items and 1 in the middle, possibly for a lipstick. And here is the authenticity card. I know you're not supposed to keep it in the bag, but I've just left them in there because I feel like unless I have a secure place or a place where I keep all of them, I won't know, you know, where they are and they'll get lost. So I really need to work on writing out, you know, this card is specifically for this bag and have it elsewhere, or else, you know, if I lose it or something, then someone's gonna be able to sell it and have the authenticity card. So that's gonna be bad news for me. So in addition to the space down there, there's also a flap right here in the front, and you can definitely hold a lot of stuff there as well, like your phone or any notes or letters. And then also in the back, there's a slot for you to hold items. Most of the time, because it is a double flap bag, you'll notice you'll have to, you know, undo this clip and then open it to reach stuff. And for me, one trick that I always do is I just stick my phone itself out here, you know, and it's so much more convenient because, you know, when I need it, I just can grab it and I don't have to dig in there. So that is kind of a pain. It's probably the only con of it, is that it's kind of hard to take things in and out of there. And with this bag, the chain length can be adjusted. You just have to have the flap open, and you can make it a longer chain, or you can have it where it's a shorter chain. So you can wear it as a shoulder bag, or the way I always wear it and like to wear it is the longer way, like this, because I just think it looks so much classier when you wear it this way because the bag itself is small. So
I really like about this handbag is the way that it is constructed at the top part. So the strap of the handbag and the front chain is not attached directly to the handbag. There is actually a D-ring, and that's attached to the flap of the bag, and then the chains are attached onto that. And I think that is a really good idea, because one of the things I hated about my Marmont, the Gucci Marmont flap bag, is that it tends to triangle. The flap tends to triangle, especially when you have been using it for a while. Like if you have been using it for 6 months to a year, the flap tends to deform. I mean, it's still a beautiful handbag, but it's just something that annoys me a little bit. But anyways, yeah, that's something that I really like about this handbag. So when you open up the handbag itself, it is lined on the inside with a sort of denim fabric, which is really pretty. Another thing about this handbag is that it is relatively soft. This is a single flap bag, which allows you really to maximize what you can put on the inside of your handbag. So at the back part, there is a back zipper, which I hardly ever use, but I just keep my authenticity card back there. And yeah, the interior space of this bag is really great. I think it's more comparable to my Louis Vuitton favorite in terms of what it can fit. So I have with me the Chanel mini flap bag, and I will sort of do a quick comparison of the two just to show you how much more that this one can fit as compared to my Chanel mini. So inside my Chanel mini, I have wet wipes, I have a Chanel card holder, I also have my RFID proof card holder, and then I have a lip balm and lotion. So I think that's about all that this Chanel mini can fit. When it comes to the elegant chain flap bag, it can fit all of that. I can also slip in my long wallet, and then I also carry around a pair of sunglasses from time to time. And I also have my house keys and my car keys as well. So I find that the space is absolutely perfect. And the fact that it's not so structured as well allows you really to fill up the handbag just in case you need. I wouldn't do this on a regular basis, of course, because I don't want to stretch out the leather. But if, for instance, I did want to throw in like a very light sweater if it is raining, I could probably stuff it into the handbag as well. Although I don't know if it would close quite as easily as it does close with just the bare minimum amount of stuff that I usually bring. Okay, so moving on to the cons of this handbag, and I would say that there's not really a lot of cons. There's nothing that I can really think of off the top of my head, except for maybe that it was expensive. Of course, being a Chanel handbag, you know that you are paying more for the brand name than you are for the construction of the handbag. But aside from that, I'm trying to think. Oh, okay, so there is one con that I can think of, and I don't know if it's just a little bit of my own imagination, but this is in lambskin leather, and I am so afraid of getting it scratched. So every time I go through the parking lot or any sort of crowded situation, like when you're in the mall or something, I tend to put it right in front of me, and then I tend to hold it very close to me as well. My husband says that I look like, you know, I'm so afraid I'm going to be robbed or something, but actually I'm just protecting the handbag because I'm so afraid that something might scratch on it. And yeah, so it's not as carefree as if I had gotten it in caviar leather, but obviously they don't have it in caviar leather. And the other thing is lambskin leather, since it is a little bit softer, and I do like the way that lambskin looks, but at the same time it does tend to crease. So you can see that there's already a little bit of a crease at the side, and I realize that's because I stored it upright when I should have been storing my bag lying down. So to get rid of the crease, I just have to be a little bit more careful with the way that I store my handbags. Maybe just put it lying flat down, and always remember to have some stuffing on the inside. The last con, and I just remembered this because my friend complained about her boy bag, and she